All right, welcome to the next video in this onboarding series. And this is probably the most important one you'll ever watch. This is one of those topics where most people will roll their eyes and move on, and they'll think it's some sort of woo woo stuff. And people tend to dismiss it because it's not measurable. You can't measure positivity, you can't measure negativity, you can't measure how you think. And that's why this is so important. So at the end of the day, my only goal is to change the way you think. At the end of the day, we all know we should be eating better. We all know we should be exercising. We all know what we should and shouldn't be doing. The idea is, how can we actually stick with it long enough to see the results and keep the results in a way that's sustainable, that we actually enjoy, that allows us to enjoy life like a regular person without having to obsess over every morsel that you put in your mouth. And this is the importance of small wins, the hidden connection on how your brain's filter shapes your reality. Because there's a thing in your brain called the reticular activating system. It's basically your brain's reality filter. Your RAS, or your reticular activating system, is a neural network on your brain stem that acts like a searchlight for attention. It filters out irrelevant data and amplifies what it is that you focus on. For example, if you buy a red car, suddenly you start noticing more red cars everywhere. The cars were always there from the begin with, but your RAS has now started to prioritize them because they're now important. You have one, and as a status thing, you like to see other people doing the same thing you're doing because it helps with our survival. Your brain shows you what you tell it to look for. And there's this concept in neurology, in neuroscience, where your focus equals reality, because we don't experience life. We only ever experience the life that we focus on. Your RAS curates your reality based on what you consistently pay attention to. So if you're constantly thinking about problems, your brain is going to constantly serve you up more and more proof of problems because that's what you're focusing on. Conversely, if you focus on more opportunities, you'll also spot more of those. Where focus goes, energy flows. And in neuroscience confirms that what you focus on gets neural reinforcement. This is Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together. For example, obsessing over failures strengthens neural pathways for negativity and failures. Your focus directs your mental energy, shaping your emotions, your actions, and even your environment. And this is where we come full circle, and why this is so important, this concept of celebrating small wins, because you are reprogramming your reticular activating system. Because most people's reticular activating system is tuned to negativity, right? This is thanks to evolution. It's the better safe than sorry bias. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And so we're constantly thinking about negativity. We're constantly noticing everything that goes wrong in our life, because 10,000 years ago, when we had to go hunt for food, if you walk by a bush and you don't act like there might be a tiger behind that bush, and there is a tiger behind that bush, you're done. And so our brain wired evolutionarily, biologically, to fixate on potential threats and problems. So when you stop and consciously start celebrating even the smallest of wins, you are rewiring your reticular activating system to scan for more positives. If you look for more good, you'll find more good. This strengthens your success pathways in the brain, making motivation automatic. Because when you create a self-reinforcing cycle, you focus on progress. Your reticular activating system highlights more progress because you tell it it's important to notice. And then you feel more capable, which means you then take more action, which then repeats the cycle. Motivation becomes irrelevant. Discipline becomes irrelevant, because when you are thinking in a more optimism, when optimism becomes your default, you don't need motivation. You just take action. And that's what we need. So celebration isn't just feel good fluff. It's neural training in your brain to default to more optimism. So how this all fits together is your reticular activating system filters reality based on your focus. What you focus on grows in your subconscious because energy follows attention. Celebrating small wins trains your brain to spot opportunities instead of obstacles, to focus on creating a positive feedback loop rather than a negative feedback loop. So what does this look like practically? If you want to change your life, you have to change your focus. So instead of why does this always happen to me, ask, okay, what's going on that went well today? Celebrating all your tiny wins. I drank water this morning. Done. Amazing. This primes your reticular activating system to seek evidence that you're succeeding instead of failing. You could always find reasons why you think you're failing, but it's so much harder to focus on the reasons why we're actually succeeding. Your mind's like a GPS. And if you keep inputting avoid highways, it's only going to show you the back roads. But if you start inputting, hey, go find the scenic routes, it then recalibrates your GPS, and calibration is the scenic route setting for your brain, right? So your RAS filters reality based on focus. So celebrating small wins reprograms it to highlight progress, turning you into more of a good fortune magnet, right? You are what you attract, or it's the law of attraction. You will bring in more of what you're searching for, and you'll bring in more of what you are. So if you are somebody who constantly thinks of negativity, you'll always attract more negativity. This is how we reprogram the brain. We hate it when people are like, oh, just be more positive. You just need to think positively. And we always want to punch that person in the face because, like, yeah, no shit. But how? Like, well, how do we do it? This is how we do it. So let's talk about a daily 5-minute reticular activating system rewire ritual to train your body or train your brain to spot opportunities instead of obstacles. Number 1, morning focus. Ask yourself first thing in the morning, what's one positive thing I want to notice today? Like, I'll notice when I start to feel more energized. I'll catch myself making healthy choices. And what this does is it just primes your RAS like a Google search alert for good stuff. And that's all we're doing. Then we start going micro win hunting, right? So throughout the day, when anything even slightly positive happens, pause internally and take notice. Bring mental attention to that thing. Because it's really easy for things to come and go and we don't even think about it. And if we don't think about it, again, that reticular activating system won't notice it. So whenever we notice anything slightly positive happen in our day, pause and internally start cheering. Nice. I drank water first thing in the morning. Hell yeah. High five me. Or I handled that stress a lot better than I did last time. Right? Use notes. I really like this by bedtime to just start writing down everything that went well for the day, because then you're documenting it and you can see it in front of you and you can start ticking off. Like, you can start seeing just how many good things actually do happen to you on a daily basis, and you can start noticing them more. And step 3, in the evening, take a victory lap. Ask yourself, what's tiny win that I'm celebrating today? And say it out loud or text it to me, message it to me, whatever you want to do. As an example, today I chose patience over yelling at my kid today when they spilled milk. That's progress. Could be like something similar to that. And why this works is because it forces your reticular activating system to start pausing and scanning for positives, like you're training a muscle. It takes time, it takes practice, but the more you do, the better you get. It also starts overriding this negativity bias that we have by default. It's like your brain's default setting is a negativity bias. We can start changing that to be more of an optimistic bias by intentionally going out of our way and finding the things to be optimistic about. And the nice thing is it takes less than 5 minutes a day, right? Also, a really good way to anchor this moment is pair it with a physical gesture, like a fist bump, like, yeah, right? Or like a self high five. And what it does, it anchors that emotion into a physical manifestation, which is fantastic. That is a really powerful way to trigger to your reticular activating system that this is what we want to focus on. This is why in the community forums on the app, there is the daily wins section. So once you've watched this video, I expect to see you in there. It doesn't have to be daily, but it definitely helps when you go in and you start celebrating your wins, no matter how small. It could be something as simple as, hey, I tracked my protein intake today, or hey, I took a 10-minute walk after dinner, or I drank a single glass of water first thing in the morning, felt really good. Whatever it is, get in there and start talking about it. Bring attention to it. It is so important. And this is probably the part that most of my clients will usually pass up on. And the people that pass up on opportunities like this are usually the clients of mine that also struggle the longest. So get in there and start celebrating your wins, no matter how small. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.